It is time to code logistic regression. Very exciting. What I want you to do is go ahead and open up a new Colab notebook. And I actually have a bit of a challenge for you. Do you remember when we did the data set? It was called the adult data set with the income greater than or less than 50K. And we actually went through and we had to set it up by copying the names of the columns and all that. See if you can go back and find that notebook to copy the code to start this one. Okay? If you're totally lost, that's why we're doing this, so that you can get a sense of how to navigate your Colab notebooks. Go ahead and try. And for those of you who are uncertain, I will show you what I do. Mine's going to be much more cluttered than yours, but if I go into my Google Drive, drive.google.com, I see a bunch of stuff here. And then your stuff should be in your Colab notebooks. Okay. And now mine are somewhat organized, but to find this one, if I labeled it something properly, let's see if I can find it. I know how to find it actually somewhere else because I have mine organized. But this is the other thing. Did you label it properly? Like, did you call it, it was something like text to numeric? Look at this, day 8, text columns, COVID bar charts. That looks right. Okay. And I don't know if that's right, but I could try it. That's where mine is. And so it should be something like a PD get dummies. Okay. That's another thing you could try to search in there. PD.get dummies, and see that brings up the right notebook. So this shows the importance basically of saving the notebooks the way you're asked to save them. So if you click on that, this is what I want you to find. It's all this stuff, so you don't have to type it in again. Okay. So go ahead and put that in your new notebook, and let's title this one Logistic Regression. Okay. So recall this is the voting data set. You can get that in there and put a text header in, load data. That the target column, the column to predict, is whether somebody makes more or less than 50K. Now, when we go ahead and load the data from the top, we have all these text columns that we need to deal with, right? We also have this income column. Okay, so this is going to be a little interesting. Okay, so let's transform the column. df equals pd.getDummies. Oh, before that, I almost forgot. Let's get rid of, see, you could actually copy the other text cells, but I want to go through this for your practice. Remember this education you don't need because it shows up already in education none. So, and this actually is a standard practice in machine learning. In fact, I'm going to give it its own header, which is get rid of any extraneous columns. And you'll see that this is important. Okay. I think that's only one we want to get rid of. We're thinking like if there's ever something that clearly would not be used to predict the last one, then we would get rid of it. So this is going to be delete df education. Yep. That's the only one right now, but what's interesting, here, let's go ahead and do, it should really be its own header. Convert text to numeric. Okay, we'll call this df pd get dummies df. Now I want you to look at it after you do that. Okay, very important here. Everything looks good. Go to the far end. Okay. So we want to predict whether someone has income greater than 50K using these other columns. So look at the last 2 columns. Okay. If we blindly go in here and say, Okay, I want to predict the last column. I'm going to use all the other columns to predict it. What is the output going to be? Like, how well is the machine learning model going to do? Well, if you look at this column here, okay, so clearly this column can be used with 100% accuracy to predict this last column, right? Because if the income is less than or equal to 50K, you know it's not greater than 50K. So your machine learning model will deliver 100% perfect predictions and you will have learned nothing, because obviously if you're trying to predict this, you will not have this information, okay? So that column must be gotten rid of, okay? Let's do that now. Delete df. Start typing in income. You could take either one. I'll just take the second to last one. Income less than or equal to 50K. Verify it's been deleted. Good, it's been deleted. So now we have like realistic predictions. And you know, this is going to happen sometimes. It's just the way it goes. So in your coding, whenever you get that 100% prediction of machine learning model, I want you to watch out for that. Okay? So the data set now appears to be ready for machine learning. I can do one final confirmation, df.info, check and see, do I have any null values? I have, there's a lot here now. Could have checked this earlier. But it appears to be all non-null and numeric. Okay? I think we can also do that df.is. See, I always forget, is it is in A or is null? Let's just try one of them. I think it's the same is null.sum. I guess it's in is in A. Oh my gosh, neither of them. Oh, it's because I need the parentheses. See, this is why I like to code live, so you guys can see that I make mistakes. And sometimes, you know, right, if I don't remember this, you can always go back and look at your previous code to find it, to see how you did it right. Okay. We are now ready to code machine learning.